When the lights go down and the crowd dissolves into the night, there's a moment that only a few people ever see. The air still trembles with the echo of applause, but backstage, it's quiet. Crew coil cables in silence. A singer leans against a wall, breathing heavy, not from exhaustion, but from the sudden absence of noise. This is the part of touring nobody talks about. The moment after the noise, after the adrenaline, after the applause. Every night, somewhere in the world, a show ends, and as the crowd leaves, hundreds of people start packing up their lives. Road cases roll across concrete. Coffee cups shake on flight cases. Voices fade into engine noise. For most, the show is a memory. For the people behind it, it's a clock resetting. 6 hours until load-in, 12 until the next sound check, one more venue, one more night. Touring isn't just motion, it's repetition, and repetition has a cost. You stop noticing what city you're in. You start counting sleeps, not days. Your body runs on sugar, caffeine, and obligation. Your mind tries to catch up, but it's still somewhere on a motorway outside Zurich or Berlin or Glasgow. And yet, you keep going. Because you have to. Because hundreds of people are waiting for the doors to open. Because there's something sacred about being part of a night that might just change someone's life. But what happens when it starts to change yours? When the applause becomes the only time you feel alive? When the silence afterwards starts to scare you? Nobody prepares you for the loneliness that comes with motion. You're surrounded by people every day, yet somehow you disappear. Friends at home stop texting because they think you're busy. You stop calling because you don't know what to say. The world becomes a list of airports and catering rooms, lit by LEDs and fatigue. Artists talk about the pressure to perform. Crew feel it too, but they can't show it. The whole machine runs on one unspoken rule. Don't break down before the gear does. So you push through, you smile through, you drink, joke, work, repeat. Until one night, someone doesn't show up for lobby call, and the silence on the bus feels heavier than the amps in the trailer. Mental health on the road isn't a headline. It's a hidden fracture that runs through the entire industry. The constant adrenaline, lack of sleep, time zone shifts, and emotional whiplash, it wears people down in ways you can't post about. There's guilt in feeling low when your job looks like a dream, and shame in admitting you're struggling when the world expects gratitude. But somewhere between the flights and the noise, there are small moments that keep you human. A shared laugh at 3 a.m. in a service station. A tech handing you their spare earplugs before the encore. A stranger in the crowd mouthing "thank you" to the lighting desk as they leave. These moments are the real currency of touring life. They're how we keep going. Sometimes people ask why we do it, why we live out of suitcases, chase sleep across time zones, build and tear down the same dream every night. It's hard to explain. It's not about fame or money or even the music sometimes. It's about belonging to something bigger than yourself. It's about those seconds on stage when everything aligns. The mix, the lights, the crowd, the chemistry. And for a heartbeat, the world feels right. That feeling is rare, but once you've tasted it, you spend years chasing it again. Still, the truth is this: the road gives and it takes. It takes your sleep, your balance, your sense of time. It gives you connection, purpose, and a kind of family you only understand when you've loaded a truck in the rain at dawn. But every night, when the applause fades, you're left with the same question echoing in your head. Who am I when the noise stops? Maybe that's the question that keeps us human. Maybe that's why, no matter how tired we get, we show up again. Because for all its chaos and cost, life on tour still feels like home. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. Then, one day, the tour ends. The gear goes back to warehouses. The bus returns to the depot. And everyone disappears into their real lives again, whatever that means. For a while, it feels like freedom. You sleep in your own bed, wake up without a call time, and try to eat something that isn't from catering. But soon the silence starts to stretch. There's no rush of load-in, no laughter in the hallway, no problem to solve before doors. Just stillness. And the stillness can be louder than any crowd. You realise how strange normal life feels? People talk about their weekends, their commutes, their plans for next month, and you smile. But part of you is still somewhere between airports. You're used to being needed, used to being part of a moving story. Now, everything feels paused. You tell yourself you'll rest, you'll reset, you'll finally breathe. But rest doesn't come easy when your body has learned to survive on motion. So you start checking the tour calendar again, telling yourself it's just curiosity. And before long, you're packing the same black suitcase, charging the same cables, and heading back into the blur. There's a guilt that comes with that. You love the people waiting for you at home, but you belong to the road in a way you can't explain. It's not escapism, it's rhythm, it's purpose. It's the only place where chaos makes sense. And every time you go back out, you promise yourself you'll do it differently this time. Eat better, sleep more, say no when you need to. But touring has a gravity of its own. It pulls you in with routine and connection and the thrill of creation. Maybe that's why the people who live behind the curtain stay there so long. They've built a strange kind of family. They speak the same language. One made of sound checks, half sleep, and inside jokes whispered over radio static. They understand what it means to keep moving even when you're running on empty. And that shared understanding is rare. Out here, nobody has to pretend everything's fine. They already know it isn't, and they show up anyway. The truth is, there's no real finish line. Just arrivals and departures, shows and silences, moments that take everything you have, and others that quietly give it back. But maybe that's the beauty of it. Touring teaches you to live inside impermanence, to find meaning in the noise, connection in exhaustion, and peace in knowing that even fleeting moments can last a lifetime. And when the next crowd fades, when the last note dissolves into air, you'll stand there again, tired, grateful, quietly undone, and know exactly why you came back. Because somewhere between the chaos and the calm is where you feel most alive.